Good afternoon, this is Ron Stanchfield, R.J. Stanchfield, Ronan, Scratch. And what I want to tell you today is I want to talk about the books that I have scheduled after these that have gone out. There's a sequel to the odd profession of Jeremy Scratch. There's a sequel, and it's going to be called the Scratch in the Eye of the Sahara. And I'm talking about the Sahara Desert, and in particular the eye in the Sahara Desert, and it's in Mauritania. If you go on Google, you can see that in the satellite version, and it's about the midway through to the west. And it's very obvious. From hundreds of miles in the sky, you see an eye and a tear duct and a big eye. And what geologists are now telling us is that that particular, it's called the Rickart structure. And scientists have been discussing it for years. Astronauts are told when they come back from wherever they're at to look for that as a point of orientation. And they saw it, and it's become a pretty generally understood term in at least Africa. But that's the center of the next story. And in essence, what it's going to be about is that Dada Lucas and Scratch's children, Toinette and Luke, they get kidnapped, and Scratch is absolutely out of his mind. He fell in love with his wife, and they're not even married, fell in love with the family, and he had to go get him, and he did go get him. And that's what it's about. It's all about that, but there are twists and turns. And the birth of my sons, my grandchildren, are twins. And I realized that Toinette was really a symbol of the unconsciousness of Dada, who understood but didn't know for sure that she was really one of twins. And that's what the story is about. And there is a heroic exchange between what happens. And I'm not going to tell you the story, but it's incredible. And the way I do my books is I outline them by making a movie in my head. And then I do scene by scene by scene by scene by scene, which equals about 65 scenes with 65 chapters. Same way I did it with the odd. What's the name of my book? The Odd Profession of Jeremy Scratch. And it's going to have the same kind of weaving of different stories, and there's offshoots and coincidence. And it starts with a prologue, which takes place approximately 10, 20 years before the actual happening of that particular kidnapping of the whole family. And it comes together in a very strange way. All I can tell you is, and this is some sad stuff. Really, it's going to break your heart, because it broke my heart to do it, but I had to do it for the story. And, I'm not going to tell you who, I'm not going to tell you how, but it happens. And then from there, after this one, Scratch and others learned that China is involved in southern Africa. They are, in Mauritania, it's still legal to have slaves. In fact, in Mauritania, it's the center of slave trading in northern Africa. In southern Africa, it also still exists inside the different, the territory. And what the Chinese have done is they've gone down to southern Africa silently, and they're buying up all the jungles. And they're hiring slaves. They're paying slaves and keeping slaves to be in servitude to do what their bidding is. And some of it is to create militias in order to offshoot the tribal people there. And so that's going to be the following one. And I haven't really fixed a name for that, but it's going to be, it's going to be the third of the trilogy. And in this case, the second, we're going to be talking to the Russians, because what they did was they tried to take over the energy that the Sahara Desert promises. If you can grab the Sahara Desert and electrify it through solar power, or really special solar power, you can electrify the world. And of course, Russia has been on that for years, and they've done it secretly because it's in the tribal center. It's in the place you don't go, where it's the blue. I guess you call it the blue people. And if you look up blue people in Google, you'll see what I'm talking about. And so that is something that I'm doing now. And then the next one is going to be the follow-up with the next problem, which is slavery. Who comes back to us in the second volume? And who was the one who left, of course? It was Tunji Farabi. Well, he comes back after being in Turkey and then moving back to Morocco, where he changed his name, and he's now working in another way. He's trying to stop slavery and systemic racism. And he's very good at it, and he's as good as he was in the first book, only his whole consciousness had changed. And Scratch and he are old friends now. And so that's all that the second book is about that I can tell you. Home. And we'll get it out to you in 6 months or 9 months. Okay, so that's all for now, and we'll see you later. All right, bye-bye.